Welcome to Madame Raven's. This way to the library. She's been expecting you.
A warning for you this time, my darlings. This deals with some serious issues with depression and suicide. If this is something you don't think you can handle, please find another story of mine to listen to. Daddy's Coming Home by First Breath 1, aka Matt Richardson. Wake up! Something's happening. The first thing I heard was my mother's soft voice. Mama always meant business when she used that inside voice. The first thing I saw was headlights. A beautiful bright white luminescence dipped into my bedroom bay window like it were an open door. Jenny, you need to wake up. Do you see it? Tell me you can see it. I need you to tell me if you can see it. The light outside my window pulsated, bizarrely, as if in response to Mama's question. The goose flesh on my arm pricked uncomfortably. The thoughts in my mind raced from start to finish. I couldn't argue with her this time. I couldn't tell her she was crazy. It was undeniable. The light was there, and it was so damn bright that my bedroom looked like daytime. I checked the watch on my nightstand just to be safe. 3 a.m. Was I crazy now too? But it would not be the first time my mother shrugged me from sleep in the midst of one of her fits. And so I had to ask, though I did it with the most polite tone my tired mind could muster, for fear of the most brutal ass-whooping a country woman could offer. Mama, did you leave the car on? I recoiled in fear of a slap, but my mother just laughed. I never remembered her laughing with her whole body like that. She laughed so hard, she had to hold on to her tiny, withered belly for support. I thought she might make herself sick. Then she placed both hands on my shoulders, looked me dead in the eye, and said, "No, Sleepy, it's your father. He's here. He's finally come home. Get dressed." And my heart shattered into all the old familiar pieces. I shifted my legs to the side and rubbed the remainder of what could be called sleep out of my eyes. I caught my breath, and I said, "Mama, Daddy died. You know that. He's 10 years gone now." But Mother ignored me completely. She danced in front of the bed gleefully. She shrugged off her sweater and twirled it over her head. Then she sauntered off into the living room. She was singing one of her golden oldies. I hadn't heard her sing it in years. I followed her with fresh tears on my face and a hand over my eyes. The mystery light poured through the windows and illuminated our tiny little den like it was daytime. I tried to find the source, but that soon proved to be useless. The more I looked out the window, the more my eyes balked from the pressure. It felt like somebody took a giant floodlight and stapled it to our front porch. I flicked the overhead switch a couple of times just to make sure. The bulb in our house turned on. The bulb in the bedroom turned on. But you couldn't tell the difference. The light had to be coming from outside. "Mom?" I asked. "Whose light is that?" She ignored me again. Mama had entered full panic mode. "They want us to play a song," she ranted as she tore across our record collection. "You know, something to jog the memory." I was thinking Smokey. Oh, your father loved Smokey. The hope in my mother's pale blue eyes made my stomach turn over. She stood and stared at me with one hand on her hip, like she was wondering why I wasn't helping. I'm going to go check outside, I choked out. To see if he's here yet. I tried to make my way to the front door in the living room. I figured some clown had to be parked in front of the house. My mother damn near tackled me on the way. No, he's here! He's here! They said we need to play his song. She kicked and shouted and punched and cussed just to keep me from getting past. I turned around and tried to go for the phone to call Dr. Wellington, but she blocked that too. Then a flailing limb caught me in the mouth. I threw up my hands, fell to the floor, and started to cry. I didn't know what to do. I was confused. I was ashamed of her. I was ashamed of myself. I hated her. The next few words flew out of my mouth like a spit. It's too late to take them back. He's dead, he's freaking dead. You were there for the wake. You were there when they buried him. Why do you do this to me? Why do you torment me? Where is the light coming from? Who are they? Who are you? You're not my mother. I want my friggin' mother back. The slur of insults and questions fell out of my mouth in my own release of pent-up aggression. I thought the words would crush my poor mother. I wanted them to crush her, but she just straightened her skirt and pointed back to the shelf. Put on Smokey. Your father's coming home. I knew there were tears in my eyes. So did she, but she didn't care. Mama's finger still outstretched towards the shelf, like I were her servant. There was nothing that could be said nor done to convince her otherwise. So I wiped away my pride. I walked over to the record player. The album in question, a classic by the Miracles, stuck out on top. I pulled it from the sleeve, stuck it on the player, and set the needle in place. My mother's haunting soprano entered into the intro. She entered into a slow dance with herself as the light outside grew cautiously brighter. La, 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 she cooed. I did you wrong. Then my mother paused. She looked like she'd heard something, so I listened. A pair of footsteps rapped upstairs. We lived alone. I bolted from the room and rushed to hide in my bedroom. My mother followed suit. The two of us jammed into my closet, crammed underneath neatly hanging clothes, while the echo of rushed footsteps worked their way through our house. They were on the second floor now. Who's there? I whispered in a panic. Please, you're scaring me. Tell me who's here. I didn't notice the blood on her wrists until we were close. The color drained from her face like a bad reaction. She took the crook of her hand and stuck it under my chin. Thick red drops fell to stain my shirt. She pushed back my sweaty hair. Then she offered a sweet peck to my forehead, just the way she always did. My mother looked excited for the first time in years. What did you do to yourself? I begged. Who is in the house? But she wasn't listening. She didn't say anything. My mother's eyes closed as she became one with the music. Smokey worked his way through the second verse as the footsteps moved down the stairs. I dug my fingernails into her shoulder as those horrible feet paused outside my bedroom door. The house started to shake as the light grew brighter. My mother's smile grew wider. After a few moments, she became only an outline, obscured by the light in front of me. My head started to throb as my eyes and ears balked from the overwhelming shock to my senses. White-hot daggers of stress pulled at the front and the back of my head like tiny ice pick. But I kept listening. I kept looking into my mother's eyes. Something inside of me knew I needed to look into her eyes. The ballad reached its final note. "I have to go, sweetheart. It's time," Mama whispered. "I love you. I love you. I love you." And those were the last words she said to me, because when Mama opened the door, the bright light went out. The footsteps went away. The house returned to peaceful, uninterrupted silence. My mother pushed her wrists together in offering and fell to the floor. It took a moment to realize she wasn't breathing anymore. Mama died that night. The ambulances didn't make it in time, and I still don't know why. So quoth this raven. My darlings, another wonderful story by Matt Richardson. My thanks to him, and to you all for coming to my little chateau and listening. A special thanks to my Patreon supporters, Ermin Case, Darren and Jennifer Ta, and Callistinik. If you like this, please hit the little button to let me know. If you didn't, hit the little button to let me know. Leave a comment. I'm always glad to talk with you, my darlings. I'm open to suggestions and criticisms, critiques. If you have not subscribed, please do so and ring the little bell so you know when to come up and see me. And I will talk to you next time, my darlings. Farewell.